Hi, John. Welcome to MovieJunk. How are you?
I'm good, Z. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, doing well. We have John Cenatiempo joining us today, who I've been a long-time fan of.
Oh, thank
Fans have
you.
seen your work in hit movies such as Too Fast, Too Furious, American Gangster, The Departed, The Irishman, many popular hit shows such as The Sopranos, Magic City, and just recently in Paramount's Tulsa King, you pay the package alongside
Yes,
Sylvester Stallone. Can't thank you enough for joining us today.
thank you for having me. That was Tulsa King was one of my favorites. We had a really fun time shooting.
Yeah, huge, and definitely, I want to jump into to Tulsa King, but you've had such an extensive body of work. I don't want to do our fans a disservice. I'd love to hear how it all started for you and what got you started in the business.
I started years ago. Just was always into stunt work. Started as a martial artist and always into stunt. We were just thinking about stunts, and finally, I got the opportunity from a man named Vic Magnata. He was a stuntman in New York years ago, and it slowly progressed from there, and then started getting little acting parts and moved along. And I actually was on a soap opera called Ryan's Hope, and it was a fight scene, and it was the first part I got cast as a character, and I was so bad that they replaced me, and that's when I started going taking acting classes and trying to learn the craft.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, you have, almost, 250, stunt credits to your name. You've also been a stunt coordinator as well, along with
Yeah.
many of the acting roles that you have too. So, was there also kind of anyone that like, you aspired to or sort of looked up along the ropes, or just started kind of learning along the way?
Just started learning along the way. I actually met a fantastic acting coach named Lenore DeCoven, and she used to teach at Columbia University. And she slowly taught me the whole process.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And just gotta ask, do you have a preference over doing more stunt or doing acting, or is it just a combination of both?
Now it's more as I'm getting older, I like doing the acting more. The body doesn't hold up as well.
Hmm, hmm. I was gonna say too, yeah, I mean, definitely, one of my quoted lines that I often say amongst a lot of my friends is that line from Too Fast, Too Furious. Hi Blondie, how does that dust taste? For some reason, that line we quote it so much,
Oh
and I mean,
yeah.
what a franchise, right? I mean, we're about to get part 10 later on this year, and you
Oh
were in
yeah.
the second film, and also worked a little bit on the seventh film as well. But what was it like,
Yeah.
sort of being a part of that franchise?
It was fantastic. Everybody's so nice on those on that franchise, and Paul was such a great guy. Yeah, and the second year director is all the stunt drivers, they're all fantastic. Good bunch of guys. So it's always a fun set to be around.
Were you doing a lot of the or all the driving yourself,
Yeah.
or sort of how? Oh, awesome! So that race was you in that scene.
Yeah. In the Bower race, yes.
Yeah, yeah, no, awesome. And were you a fan of the first film before joining the Too Fast, Too Furious, or had you seen the first film before?
I didn't see it until I found out about the second one. Then I saw it, and the first one was really good.
Awesome. And I mean, any memorable stories that you could share from the set?
Geez, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Um, in it was Miami 20 years ago.
Miami.
And
Yeah,
it was just a fun time. We all had so much fun.
there. And any stories with the late Paul Walker?
Um, he's one of those guys that, you know, you could ask about, if you ask 1,000 people about anybody, somebody's going to say something bad or negative about them. And Paul Walker's one of those guys. And also Tony Scott is a friend of mine as a director. They're like two people that nobody in the whole world would ever say anything bad about them. It would always be, wow, he's such a great person, no matter who you asked.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. I mean, that franchise obviously, wouldn't be the same, without him. And, his legacy is sort of carried on in each and every film. And, you guys
Yeah.
had, such a fun scene, especially in that second film. And I'm also really excited to see what's in store with part 10 that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
There. I do want to pivot over to The Sopranos, which, fans of our podcast know that, we've interviewed a lot of the Sopranos cast, and you play Anthony Maffei, and you joined a little bit later, the second half of season six. But did
Yeah.
you also do some work early on before joining season six, or was that?
No, I did a whole bunch of stunt work on that. From the first episode on up, uh, did a whole bunch of ND work and things like that, and then finally got cast in the fifth or sixth season, right? That was the sixth season, yeah.
Yeah, season six, B, on there as well too, where we get to see your character, and you had a lot of scenes with Tony, and also during the hideout as well too. And we were, going to war. I say we, like I was part of Jersey, but we were going to war with New York,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
what was it like working on that set?
That was great set. Again, a set with a cast was just a really great bunch, and everybody got along so well. James Gandolfini was such a great guy, and Tony Sirico. Uh, we'd go to the racetrack a few times and watch the horses go around because they had horses. So we'd go to
Yeah.
breakfast in Belmont. They were just really good guys.
Yeah, and what I heard, obviously from interviewing the castmates and also from other interviews, that like Tony Sirico was literally that guy. Kind of what you see is what you get. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
he was a really good guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite? I always like to ask, was there a favorite episode as a fan, kind of wearing your fans hat? Did you have a favorite Sopranos episode?
No, I don't. I don't you know, no, I can't say I do. I kind of look at it a different view when you work on them, you know.
Hmm.
Usually I
Definitely.
don't even watch the stuff that I do afterwards because it's so far down the road, you know.
Hmm. No,
Yeah.
definitely. And what were your thoughts on the highly debated, was Tony killed in the finale episode, or did he live on? Do you have a perspective on what happened there in the
I
finale?
I don't. I guess he just David Chase might have just kept it open so he can make his mind up at a later date, just going to black like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um yeah, I don't know.
On there. Yeah, no, I've heard a lot of debates kind of back and forth on if Tony lived, or if Tony was, maybe killed by the guy that goes into the bathroom. But I'm of the believer, if we don't see it on screen, it doesn't exist, right? So,
Yeah.
right. So,
Yeah.
and also to kind of fast forward to Tulsa King, right? So this is, two creators, right? We have, Taylor Sheridan, from Yellowstone, and then Terrence Winter, who you worked with obviously with Sopranos. So we
Yeah.
got the marriage of these two worlds. Again, I think this show caught everyone by surprise. But again, I'd love to hear first, how did you first hear about it? What was sort of the audition process like, and your experience on the show?
Um First heard about it from uh Terry Winter and my agent Scott Greenberg um are good friends, and of course I know Terry from Sopranos. I know Terry a long time, and that's how I started getting involved with the project, and read for a couple of different roles, and then ended up with Nico,
Mhm.
and it was just unfortunately I didn't know I was getting killed so fast.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I mean, definitely the aha moment. Like, it's really the scene that kind of like jumps at everyone. Like, oh shoot, we're on for a roller coaster, right? So, and for me, I was like, man, we're kind of getting like Rocky and Rambo all in one, right, in one scene. So that scene, I imagine, obviously you doing your own stunt work. I mean, what was it like? I mean, Sly's not, young anymore, right? He's 76. What was
You
it
know
like
what?
shooting that scene?
Was that first of all, just a fantastic human being, and a great guy. And you got to remember, 76 years old. He did the whole fight with me. He actually laid it out, did the whole fight, and was more concerned about my safety than his own the whole time. Yeah, the whole time is making sure you okay, you okay, you okay. Yeah, he was really concerned, and it was a lot of fun. The whole cast. That again between Sopranos, um, Tulsa King, and Magic City were the three just fantastic casts that I've worked with. You know, best group of people that all got along fantastic and just had a good time on all of those sets.
I definitely want to touch on Magic City because that's another one of my all-time favorite shows. But also too with the success of Tulsa King, you know, right? I think after like episode two, the show was already renewed for a second season, right? So
Yeah.
it's already renewed for a season two. Obviously, we know the fate of what happens to the package, but any chance the package had a twin brother that we didn't know about?
God, I
In
hope
season
so.
two?
I really hope so because I'd like to go back to that show, but I doubt it. They don't give you any clues of what's going to go on. Yeah,
Hmm.
even when you go to set, you only know your stuff. You don't know what else is happening around you.
Of course, yeah, definitely. I mean, we had we actually interviewed some of the cast from Tulsa King, and we've previously had Chris Caldovino
Oh,
on the
he's great.
show before too. Huge fan of his, and also we again just seeing a lot of the Sopranos alum like Max Casella and on Boardwalk
Yeah.
Empire with Dominic Liberdosi as well too. So
And don't
definitely, I
forget
think season
don't
two.
forget Vincent Piazza.
Vincent Piazza, who was
Yeah,
also in Sopranos and Boardwalk. Like it was just a dream cast. So that's why I was like, man, I'm so excited for this show, and I think season two is going to be even bigger.
yeah. We had a good time. We go out to eat a lot and just had a whole bunch of fun in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and it's really unique, right? Because it's kind of like a Get Shorty meets Sopranos. Like there's just as much as there is drama, like right, like the scene that we had with you. I mean, it's very serious, but I was laughing, just dead out laughing on multiple scenes, which you don't usually get from these types of mob shows.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And Sly plays a such a likable bad guy. You know, he
yeah.
plays the character really well where it goes both ways. Yeah.
Yeah, and just the way that he's been able to round up, so many different people in his crew because he was sent to basically, wither away in Tulsa, but he's got the Indians, he's got the cowboys, he's got
Yeah.
his own crew, and it's like, man, I don't think even in his wildest dreams he'd think that he would be able to kind of build this sort of crew in Tulsa,
Yeah.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
And yeah. And when he goes into the pot store, the weed store, yeah, and just all
For
that dialogue.
Bodie.
Yeah, with all that dialogue is so good.
Yeah. I mean, he's educating Bodie on his own business. Like, where did he learn all this? What kind of
Right.
research was he doing in the penitentiary?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the funny scene with the Bitcoin when he reveals Bitcoin to him. Yeah.
No, I'm equally as excited. From what I hear, I think production is going to probably start going underway for season two in March. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's in store for season two. And again, hopefully we see, maybe your character or a twin brother of your character sort of coming back and seeing if we can get some more of your presence on the show again.
It would have to be a twin brother because he killed me pretty good.
Oh yeah. And speaking of, I know we were talking earlier about Miami, during your time at with Too Fast, Too Furious, Magic City, takes
Yeah.
place again. This is a period piece. One of those shows where I really wish that we got a few more seasons of. And again, it's really a best kept secret because a lot of fans have seen it, on Starz, but some folks haven't heard about it. And whoever I push to watch, they're like, man, I wish we had a few more seasons of this. But definitely seems like it was one of your most memorable roles that you've played.
Yeah. Mitch Glaze is great, the writer and creator. You know, Jeffrey Dean, Yule, everybody on that show was so good. And again, Stars made a big mistake not picking it up. I don't know why, but that's a show also. Like over the years, people always have a comment about something. Oh, gee, I saw you in this show and I liked it, but I didn't like the costumes. I saw you in this show and I didn't like the dial. They have something that they didn't like. Magic City is one of them shows that everybody that watched it, oh, I can't believe they didn't pick that show up. It was so good. There was nothing. And everybody had such great opinions about it.
Definitely a gem. And also, too, I mean, I remember a few years after the final season, there was some rumblings about making a direct movie. Was there any truth to that, or was that all rumors? Or
Yeah, they kept trying to do it, and I I don't know why it didn't come together. So many stars have to be in aligned to make a project like that work. Between the money and the scheduling of all the cast and the locations, and so it. I don't know the inside of why it didn't go, but they were definitely
yeah,
trying to do it for a while.
definitely, yeah. Well, hopefully, Stars can watch this interview, and maybe there'll be some splurges of maybe bringing it back for like another season, or maybe even I think a movie at this point would be really good, kind of where the characters are, sort of today, and kind of building off of that, because it really was a hidden gem.
Yeah. Yeah, another thing too, there's no tax credits in Miami, so it's harder to get a film done there.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
and we mentioned earlier, I mean, you have, almost or over 250 credits, to your name. You've worked with, some of the best and some of the all-time classics. But is there still someone that you're still hoping to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Huh. I don't know.
Kind of on your bucket list?
Yeah, I have to think about that one and come back on the show with a couple of people.
Of
Yeah.
course, of course. And
Every time you go to work on another show, you find somebody else that you go, oh wow, this person's great, and this person's really good, and it's like, wow, didn't even know them
mhm.
before. So you always find somebody new that impresses you on every show.
So I gotta ask, because usually your characters, they usually end in sort of like a gruesome either death or get beat up, really, really bad. I was kind of having this debate a little while back with one of my friends around, like, was it the scene in Departed where you get hit with Leo by the freezer machine, or was it even just the death scene in The Irishman, right, where you get choked from the back, and poor
Yeah.
guy, they put you through a grinder, and even what we just saw in Tulsa King. Do you have a favorite sort of death scene that you've played?
Oh, I don't know. Um, I don't know if you're supposed to be. My favorite scene would be if I got the girl at the end of the movie walking hand in hand down the beach. That would be my favorite scene. If I lived through one of these movies.
Yep.
Um,
You do it so well, though. You do it so well.
you know, look, I working with Sly was so great, and I've worked with him before. So that was really one of my favorites. Um, Leo was such a good guy, and it was so great to do The Departed.
Yeah.
And then of course working with Marty Scorsese on The Irishman, that's always fantastic.
Yeah.
So I can't say anyone's a favorite. They were all really good, and I enjoy them all.
Yeah, no, The Irishman, again, another film where we were fortunate to interview quite a bit of the cast, and getting an opportunity to see Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino all together for the first time was just something that was amazing. 11 Academy Award nominations, so
Yeah.
definitely I feel like the film held up to what it was looking to, and I think also like the most shot scenes of any movie. I don't think that record's been broken yet, but definitely a classic film there as well too.
Yeah.
And John, definitely want to be respectful of your time, and I want to dig into every one of these projects, but I also want to save some room for round two, but
Okay.
also want to share what other upcoming projects that you're allowed to share that you're currently working on.
Um, we just finished a show called Bupkis with
Mhm.
actually Joe Pesci plays oh boy, why am I drawing a blank?
With Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Really funny guy. And Joe
yeah.
Pesci plays his grandfather, and I did a little played his driver for a little bit. That was fun. We're just finishing up Then we worked on No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence, romantic comedy, and took place out in Montauk. That was a lot of fun. That'll be a good movie. And now we're doing Dr. Death, the second season of Dr. Death. Did you ever see that? Did you see the first season of Dr. Death?
Yep, yep. That's a good show.
Yeah, it makes you a little scary that you don't want to go to a doctor after you see it. You know, after you read these
Yeah,
scripts, it's like I'll stay
yeah,
home. I don't care.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. One of my friends actually put me on to that show, and I didn't finish the entire season. I watched a good chunk
Uh-huh.
of most of it, so I definitely got to finish the first season, and excited that there's going to be another season coming out as well too. So I definitely need to get caught up.
This one's with Edgar Ramirez, really great guy, and Mandy Moore.
Amazing actor.
And both of
Oh,
them are so good and so nice. And yeah, it's about a doctor that was putting tracheas in people and knowing that they were bad just to get the research and development money. And just makes you
I see.
scared thinking about what a doctor could do.
Oh yeah, right. Because we're putting our trust and we're kind of going in and expecting that we're going to get out gracefully, but looks like there's something else in store for the patients.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I definitely can't. Again, you mentioned you're playing, Joe Pesci's driver and Butkus. I definitely, and again, maybe you can't share too much, but I definitely just got to ask, what was it like working with the legend? Again, to even for, if it was whatever you're able to even share about that, I'd love to hear.
Oh man. First of all, Pete Davidson and those guys are so funny when you listen to them
Yeah,
on set, and to see Joe after so long, he's such a good guy. And whenever you get to sit with like one of the old timers and hear a bunch of old stories that they tell you, it's always fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've seen the pictures, right? So like fans have kind of seen the photos of Joe Pesci and Davidson on set. So we're definitely excited. And obviously, we
Yeah.
know Joe Pesci's retired, but whenever he steps back to the screen, it's always something memorable. So I'm really looking forward to seeing
They
it.
have a great chemistry with each other. You're gonna like that show.
I
Yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait. And John, again, like I mentioned, I want to be respectful of your time, and obviously, always
Okay.
want to save some room for round two again. But I can't thank you enough for
Thank
having you
you.
join today. Been a long time fan, and really excited to see all your upcoming projects as well. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it. And if you're coming to New York, give me a call and
I
we'll walk
will. I
around a
definitely
little bit.
will.
We'll have a
I
cocktail.
definitely will.
All
I
right,
can't
you
wait.
have a
Definitely
great
will.
day. Thank you
You
very
too.
much.
Take care.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.